The India Meteorological Department on April 11th predicted normal rains during this year's monsoon season at 96% of the long period average or LPA, in spite of the anticipated El Nino conditions. While it is categorized as normal, the forecast is at the lowest end of what the IMD categorizes as normal rainfall. In effect, the 4-year run of good summer monsoon rains that India has witnessed could come to an end this year. This is IMD's first official monsoon update for the year. A monsoon season is considered normal if it receives rainfall of 96 to 104% of the LPA. The LPA is the precipitation recorded over a particular region for a given interval, averaged over a long period, like 30 or 50 years. The forecast by the state-run weather agency came a day after Skymet, India's private weather agency, said that there would be a below normal monsoon this year due to El Nino, which is the warming of the Pacific Ocean near South America that weakens monsoon winds. Skymet's forecast that monsoon rains will be 94% of the LPA could pose a potential risk to India's crop output. Not only does agriculture account for 2/5 of India's food production, it is also a source of livelihood for slightly less than half of the country's population.
This variance, firstly, it's not very large. Skymet has given 94% of long period average, and IMD has given 96%. Practically and literally, I will say this is almost consensus of forecast. 94 and 96, difference is just about 18 millimeter of rainfall for the season, which amounts to 2 days of monsoon rainfall.
However, what these forecasts mean for the economy depends on their accuracy. A recent report by National Daily revealed that in the past 10 years, IMD's first long-range monsoon forecasts, which are issued in April, have been off the mark by 6.9% on average. This is higher than the accepted 5% error margin of the forecast. However, IMD's second long-range forecasts, issued in May-June, were slightly more accurate, with an average departure of 5.9% against an error margin of 4%. In the past decade, Skymet has also had a mixed record with its first monsoon forecasts, which have seen departures beyond the margin of error in some years. Yet, experts believe that IMD's departures are not too high. With that in mind, what does its forecast mean for the economy? After all, on April 6th, the RBI MPC marginally hiked its GDP forecast for FY24 to 6.5% from 6.4% projected earlier. It also slightly lowered its projection of retail price inflation for FY24 to 5.2% compared to 5.3% expected earlier. One of the factors that the MPC based its projections on was a normal monsoon.
Our forecast is 6% growth and 5% inflation. The IMD forecast doesn't change that because we had assumed a normal monsoon. We assume agriculture to grow at 3% if this forecast holds. But one should also keep in mind that in the month of May, they'll revise their monsoon outlook again when more information becomes available. And in this day and age of climate change, etc., I think you have to wait for more reliable information.
However, possible complications are plenty. For one, there's a possible impact due to the anticipated El Nino conditions. Second is the monsoon's interspatial distribution. The IMD expects normal to below normal rains in some areas of northwest India, parts of west central India, and pockets of the northeast. Normal rainfall is likely over many areas of peninsular India, adjoining east central India, East India, Northeast India, and over parts of Northwest India. In a significant portion of the country, all three probabilities, which are below normal, normal, and above normal rains, could occur.
Both temporal distribution and spatial distribution, they matter most. It matters more than what we work out with a figure, whether it is a 94% or 96%. What matters most is the rainfall distribution. But there are a few pockets, yes, which are rainfall dependent, monsoon rainfall dependent, where any large deficiency, particularly over the central parts, western parts, it matters, yes.
The chatter on El Nino impacting rains was getting louder. I think it's got silenced a bit after IMD's prediction. To what extent I think the economy will be impacted? Critically, I think it depends on how well the rains are distributed, even if they are a little lower than the normal. I think distribution over time and over geographies is extremely critical. And by the way, I think there is some regional disturbance predicted in the monsoon. But you tell me which year we haven't seen that. I mean, so the issue is that it should not be extreme.
Along with the evolving monsoon and El Nino situation, Joshi also called for monitoring the impact of other weather events like heat waves on agriculture, which has been a weak spot in the overall economic story. Ultimately, it is important that the IMD forecast holds because a poor monsoon will impact kharif production and thus keep inflation on the higher side.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.